What if the stocks sitting in your account right now could pay you rent every single month without you selling a single share? There's a strategy that does exactly that. It's called the covered call, and in a long-running study, a benchmark index built on this strategy kept pace with the overall stock market while taking on only about 2/3 of the risk. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, dollar by dollar. Welcome back to the channel. In our last options video, we broke down what calls and puts actually are. If you haven't seen that one, I'll link it above because today we're building directly on it. This is the covered call, probably the single most popular income strategy in the entire options world, and honestly, one of the most beginner-friendly. It's so mainstream that many brokers approve it at the lowest options permission level, the same tier as basically nothing else. Here's what you're going to learn in the next 15 minutes. First, what a covered call actually is, explained in plain English with zero jargon left undefined. Second, a complete worked example. Real numbers, 3 different outcomes, so you can see exactly what you make and exactly what you give up in each scenario. And third, the 3 most expensive mistakes new covered call sellers make, including one that quietly locks in losses, and how to avoid every single one of them. By the end of this video, you'll understand this strategy better than most people who are already using it. And that's not an exaggeration. You'll see why when we get to the mistakes section. Let's get into it. Let's start with the name itself, because it tells you everything. A covered call has 2 parts. The call and the covered. Quick refresher from last episode. A call option is a contract that gives the buyer the right, not the obligation, to purchase 100 shares of a stock at a fixed price, called the strike price, any time before the contract expires. The buyer pays money for that right. That payment is called the premium. Now here's the key move. In this strategy, you're not the one buying the call. You're the one selling it. You collect the premium. That cash hits your account immediately, and it's yours to keep no matter what happens next. And the covered part? That means you already own the 100 shares the contract is written against. If the buyer ever exercises their right, you simply hand over shares you already have. You're covered. Compare that to selling a call without owning the shares. That's called a naked call, and it carries theoretically unlimited risk, because you'd have to buy the shares at whatever price the market demands. We are not doing that. Not on this channel. Here's my favorite way to think about it. Imagine you own a house, and someone pays you $500 today for the right to buy that house from you at a fixed price anytime in the next 30 days. If they never follow through, you keep the house and the $500. If they do follow through, you sell the house at a price you already agreed was acceptable, and you still keep the $500. Either way, you got paid. That's a covered call. Your shares are the house. The premium is the rent. So when you sell a covered call, only 3 things can happen at expiration. Outcome 1. The stock stays below the strike price. The buyer has no reason to exercise. Why pay your strike price when the market is cheaper? The option expires worthless. You keep your shares, you keep the full premium, and next month you can do it all over again. Outcome 2. The stock rises above the strike price. The buyer exercises, your shares get sold. This is called being assigned at the strike price. You keep the premium, plus any gain from your purchase price up to the strike. The only thing you give up is the upside beyond the strike. Outcome 3. The stock falls. You keep the premium and your shares, but the shares are worth less. The premium cushions the loss, but it does not prevent it. Hold on to that thought, because it's the source of mistake number 3 later. Now, you may have heard the famous claim that 90% of options expire worthless, usually as an argument that sellers almost always win. That number is a myth, and we care about accuracy on this channel. What exchange data actually shows is that only about 10% of option contracts get exercised, but roughly 55 to 60% are closed out before expiration. which leaves only about 30 to 35% that actually expire worthless. Selling options is a legitimate strategy. It is not a 90% win button. Nobody's handing out free money. So what does the honest long-term evidence say? There's a benchmark index, maintained by a major options exchange since the late 1980s, that simulates continuously selling one-month covered calls on the 500 largest U.S. stocks. An independent consulting firm studied 18 years of its history, from mid-1988 through 2006, and found the covered call index returned about 11.8% per year, versus 11.7% for the plain stock index, but with only about two-thirds of the volatility. Same destination, much smoother ride. But, and this matters, the same research found the strategy lags badly in strong bull markets because your upside keeps getting capped, and shines in flat or falling markets because you're collecting premium while everyone else collects nothing. That's the trade at the heart of every covered call. You are selling a slice of your possible future upside in exchange for guaranteed cash today. All right, theory is nice, but this channel runs on real numbers. So let's bring back Marcus. If you're new here, Marcus is our resident case study trader. He's made most of the mistakes we cover on this channel, so you don't have to, and lately, he's been getting smarter. Marcus owns 100 shares of a solid, boring company he bought at $50 per share. Total position: $5,000. He likes the company long-term, but the stock has been drifting sideways for months, paying him nothing. So Marcus sells one covered call. Here are the exact terms. Strike price: $55, 10% above the current price. Expiration: 30 days out. Premium: $1.20 per share. Since one contract covers 100 shares, Marcus collects $120, deposited into his account the moment the trade fills. Pause on that number. $120 on a $5,000 position is a 2.4% yield in 1 month. For comparison, a typical dividend stock might pay that much in an entire year. Now, to be fair, 2.4% reflects a moderately volatile stock. On a very calm blue chip, the same setup might pay closer to 0.5% to 1% a month. Premium is always proportional to how much the market expects the stock to move. Remember that? It comes back in the mistakes section. Now let's play out all three endings. Scenario 1. The quiet month. 30 days later, the stock has crept up to $52. That's below the 55 strike, so the option expires worthless. Marcus keeps his 100 shares, which are now worth $200 more than he paid, and he keeps the $120 premium. Total gain: $320, and he's free to sell another call next month. This is the dream scenario for covered call sellers, and in a sideways market, it happens a lot. Scenario 2. The breakout. Instead, the stock jumps to $58. It's above the strike, so Marcus gets assigned. His shares are sold at 55. Let's count his money. He bought at 50, sold at 55. That's $500 of stock gain, plus the $120 premium. Total: $620, a 12.4% return in 30 days. Sounds great, right? Here's the honest part. If Marcus had never sold the call, his shares would be worth $58 each, an $800 gain. By selling the call, he made $620 instead. He gave up $300 of upside, the move from 55 to 58, in exchange for the $120 he collected up front. Was that a mistake? No, it was the deal. He agreed to sell at 55, and he got paid to make that promise. But you need to see both numbers before you sell your first call, because scenario 2 is where sellers feel regret if they didn't understand the trade going in. Scenario 3. The drop. The stock falls to $46. Marcus's shares are down $400. The premium claws back $120 of that, so his net paper loss is $280 instead of $400. In fact, the premium lowered his effective break-even from $50 to $48.80. Better than owning the stock outright, but he still lost money. A covered call is a seatbelt, not an airbag. One last piece of math, because this video has monthly income in the title. If Marcus could collect that $120 every month for a year, that's $1,440, nearly 29% of his position. But be careful with that projection. Some months he'll get assigned and have to rebuy. Some months premiums will shrink. Some months the stock drops and the smart move is to wait. Real-world results land well below the NAV 12 times multiplication. The 18-year study we cited earlier landed around 12% a year, and that's the honest anchor to keep in your head. The income is real. The get-rich-quick version is not. Now the section that will save you real money, the 3 mistakes that quietly drain covered call sellers and how to sidestep every one. Mistake number 1. Selling calls on shares you actually don't want to sell, especially below your cost basis. Here's how it happens. Say you bought a stock at $60 and it drops to $50. Painful. Then you discover covered calls and think, great, I'll earn income while I wait to recover. So you sell a $52 call for 80 cents. Feels smart. But if the stock rebounds to 57, you get assigned at 52. Do the math. You lose $8 per share on the stock, get back 80 cents in premium, and you've locked in a $720 loss on a stock that came back above your entry a week later. Nothing is more infuriating. The fix is a simple rule. Only sell a strike price you would genuinely be happy to sell at, ideally at or above your cost basis. Before you click sell, ask one question. If my shares get called away at this price, am I satisfied? If the answer is no, pick a higher strike or don't sell the call at all. Mistake number 2. Chasing the fattest premiums. New sellers open the options chain, sort by premium, and their eyes light up. Because some stock is offering 4, 5, 6% for a single month. Here's the catch, and it's the most important sentence in this section. Premium is not free money, it is your compensation for risk. The market pays enormous premiums on exactly the stocks most likely to crash through your position or gap wildly past your strike. Remember, the premium only cushions your downside by the amount you collected on Marcus's trade, just $1.20 against a stock that can easily move $10. Sellers who chase 6% monthly yields on volatile lottery ticket stocks usually end up owning falling knives that no premium can bandage. The fix. Pick the stock first, a company you'd happily hold for years, and treat the premium as a bonus on top. Never let the premium pick the stock. Mistake number 3. Treating assignment like a disaster. Sooner or later, a stock will blow past your strike, and you will watch your gains land in someone else's account. Every new seller reacts the same way. They panic, they buy the call back at a big loss to keep the shares, or they roll the position again and again, paying out more than they ever collected, all to avoid selling. Look back at Marcus's scenario too. Assignment handed him a 12.4% one-month return. That is not a disaster. That is the plan working exactly as designed. You wrote a contract, you got paid for it, and the contract executed. The fix is mindset plus preparation. Decide before you sell the call that assignment is an acceptable outcome because you set a strike you're happy with, per rule number 1, and if you get assigned, take your profit and go find the next setup. The sellers who get hurt aren't the ones who get assigned. They're the ones who fight it. Notice something. All 3 mistakes trace back to one root cause, selling the call before deciding how you feel about every possible ending. Decide first, sell second. If this video finally made covered calls click for you, do me one quick favor, hit the like button. It genuinely tells the algorithm to show this to other people, trying to learn this stuff the honest way, with real numbers instead of hype. And if you know someone sitting on a portfolio of stocks that pay them absolutely nothing, send them this video. You might change how they think about every share they own. Finally, if you're not subscribed yet, now's the moment. because this options series is just getting started, and the next episodes build on everything you learned today. If you remember one thing from today, make it this. A covered call is a trade, not a gift. You are selling a slice of your potential upside in exchange for guaranteed cash today. Sold on the right stock. At a strike you're genuinely happy with, that trade can turn a sleepy portfolio into a monthly paycheck. Remember, the long-term evidence showed market-like returns at roughly 2/3 of the volatility. Sold carelessly, it caps your winners and merely bandages your losers. The strategy is simple. The discipline is everything. Next time, we're switching gears from options to the charts themselves. The chart patterns every trader needs to recognize. Head and shoulders, double tops, flags, triangles, what they look like, what the data says about how often they actually work, and how to avoid seeing patterns that aren't really there. If you've ever stared at a chart and felt like everyone else could read something you couldn't, that video is for you. Quick reminder, this channel is education, not financial advice. Options involve real risk, and everything here is meant to help you understand the tools. What you do with them is your decision, ideally with a licensed professional in your corner. And that's a wrap on today's topic. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Have a question about what we've covered today? Drop it in the comments below. I'll be answering the best ones. If you want to dive even deeper, click on this next video somewhere on the screen, where we explore next topic. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.